Welcome to Black Sheep and Bad Apples, episode number 14. In the studio tonight at Fourth Corner Studios, we have Ron, our sound effects and audio production assistant.
DJ Ronnie.
Oh, what's up?
We also have Sam in the studio tonight, our scientific professor engineer of theory.
How's it going, everybody?
Tonight we have a special guest, Mel.
Hello.
Well, hi. And I'm your co-host, Sean. Here at Fourth Corner Studios, we have your host, Lauren O'Brien.
That's the name.
Boo.
Don't boo me, Sam.
What up, friend?
How's it going, guys? How y'all feeling?
Oh, pretty good.
Well,
pretty
Thanks for
good.
having me here.
No, thank you.
Not high enough.
We just did a little recording session with our friend Mel, and it was a lot of fun, actually. I'm very excited. You're shaking your head like you disapprove, but you did great. It was amazing.
Well, thank
And
you.
I just thank you for being here with us. I know you're bringing up some. So tonight's episode, we're talking about Sasquatch, and I know you're not what you would describe as an expert, but you've got some good ideas. And so I want to point out tonight to all the listeners, what we're doing is not proving if something is right or wrong, or exists or does not exist. We are simply here on a fact-finding mission to see what the fuck is going on with Sam Squanch.
I mean, I was gonna go into this just believing, like setting up the premise that Sasquatch exists and not like arguing that case.
Yeah, that's exactly where you should go. So, but before we get to that, I do have a couple things that have been bothering me for the last couple weeks. That we haven't been exactly doing this as regimentedly as we normally have been, which is probably a made-up word. But I'm gonna go ahead and do my little rant.
Do it. You won't.
Beaver bongs.
Oh,
What?
fuck.
You guys heard about goddamn beaver bongs?
Do tell. I have not.
This is really gnarlier than I think it is.
It's probably
Or
as gnarly.
less.
It's probably as gnarly as you think it is.
It's pretty much a sex move.
It's a real thing. I didn't believe it when I heard about it last night, but I was at the bar, and somebody told me about beaver bongs and then joked around about it, and I was like, somebody should actually make that. And they were like, they do. You'll have to go to Pornhub. So as reluctant as I am to take somebody's word about what kind of porno I should watch, because the last time I did that was 2 Girls, 1 Cup, I, against my better judgment, went and looked up beaver bongs. So I'm going to describe it to you guys for just a second.
Go down that rabbit hole.
damn,
Let's check it out.
Beaver bongs, really?
So a beaver bong
get
is
weird.
a
Let's hear
piece
it.
of glass that is essentially, it's a bong, but it doesn't have a bottom. Now what you do is you insert the bottom of this bong into a cervix, and then you pour water down it, and then you smoke your weed out of a vagina.
Wait.
It goes.
Put it in the
Sounds fair.
cervix, like.
You
jam it
Sounds
right
doable.
past the labia,
bowl of
right
the
into the whole
bong
damn
is-
thing.
Is the
You stick it right up in there. That's the
Sounds
point.
doable.
You just
can
go
do
right
it.
up in
There's
there.
certain chicks who can
I
do it.
mean,
Right up in there.
I can
like
not
in
the
the vaginal
biggest bong
canal, I would.
ever.
Well,
believe,
maybe
but
that's
not
better.
like.
Yeah, maybe
Yeah,
that's
it's up in that uterus. No,
If
that's
you
no, it's
bump
not.
that cervix, you're going too deep.
no. I would say it would
Basically.
be. It'd be
whatever,
like.
Going to
whatever you
homeboy.
call it. You
Shout
jam it in
out
the
to
you jam it in the pussy.
Sam
God damn.
Tripoli.
I'd just say it's like dildo status, like a glass dildo, but you can smoke through it. And if you're down with that, good for you. But yeah, there better
it's
be.
like drinking beer made out of pussy.
No.
It's kind of gross.
But yeah, I
It's
get
kinda
it. I
gross.
get that it's maybe there's some arguments on how it's appropriate it is and that, but it probably comes down to the size available options. Because if
really
it's
wanna
only a
resonate
really
that
big
thing?
bong, you're probably not going to find too many available interested parties that want to test this item out, if that makes sense.
So my real issue with it was, I phrased it best last night. I was like, smoking weed out of a pussy. That's like putting mustard on goddamn ice cream. Both of them are super good, but why would you put them together?
Okay, what I am curious about though is
Fair.
whether or not the party that inserts
Assessment.
gets high in the process.
I mean, if you insert it
It's
You're
like
probably the
old,
guy the person rather smoking out of it. So
like the old theory of like if you blow
I don't think.
weed smoke in a dog's ear, it gets high type of deal. If you smoke weed through a beaver bong, does the other party get high in the process? Because that
Like
might
how
be kind
much
of.
THC can the vaginal
Absolutely
canal
not.
absorb?
I mean,
I don't
do you
know.
understand? Like, no, absolutely not. It's like,
Yeah, we don't have one, so
How-
we have like we're less. We don't know.
okay,
works.
so there's a bong being inserted.
Yeah.
yeah,
That's not. Oh my gosh, like that you can't understand like how that barrier is going on. Like,
well, no, that's what I'm saying.
little
There's
like-
no barrier.
There's no barrier. It's just like a top.
Yeah, so the bottom of a
Oh my god!
the-
I was
yeah,
like,
so
really
hold on.
The
misunderstanding.
vagina.
yeah, the bottom of the
canal
bong is
becomes
sealed in
the
most
water.
cases.
So how do you
Yeah.
how do you
This one
smoke?
becomes-
This
then?
one is
No, you pour water in the bong as it's here, so the bowl base of the bong that holds the water would be.
I'm assuming there's some.
Yeah.
pile
So
driver
then, how do
position in
you?
place.
Where do you put the?
okay.
So
So
Hold on.
there's a
Okay,
there's a bowl
okay, I'm
outside
just-
of it, and
okay.
then you.
Yeah, so we'll say this
Rewind. Understand now.
Yeah.
Okay, that's
No,
kind of fucking fucked up.
again
and
because
weird,
like,
Yeah.
and I'm not trying
So
to
if you have-
implicate or be rude, but like, I love the taste of pussy. I don't mean to be crass, but I love the taste of weed too.
combine
Now,
it both.
why would you put them
Perfect.
together? Because
get-
it just seems like corrupting two fucking
Because
great things.
it's the best. Like
I don't-
maybe that's the best. Did you try it yet?
No,
I don't know, man.
Did you?
Like,
That's
try
what
it,
I'm-
try it,
weird.
Try it. Try it. Maybe that's like the best.
like
That's
the
what I'm
right
saying.
circumstance,
Maybe
I
it's
would, I would
actually-
100% do this. Hey, Ron.
Jesus, Ron.
It froze. Technical difficulties.
Stop
and
shouting.
hey,
Play
thank
it out, Paul
you.
Schaefer.
You're an
I
interim for a
appreciate that.
reason.
This is why we don't pay you.
I
I
hope y'all
love
heard
it,
that.
and it's perfect. And thank you.
Well, that's
So-
what we need to conclude that part of what we're subject matter.
Dude, honestly though, if beaver bongs are real,
No, they are real.
Sasquatch has to be. Like seriously, like. Is,
By virtue of.
well, I mean,
what?
like the fucking, in the idea of fucking like, if that fucking degenerate thing fucking exists, man, there's no reason a life form that like is
True.
interdimensional as far as I understand it.
Some interdimensional shit.
There's
yes.
no reason that can't be if fucking beaver bongs exist in our dimension.
Are you saying
You're
beaver,
just as upset as I was when I heard about it, Ron.
Are you saying beaver bongs are possibly interdimensional?
It's a little shocking.
I mean,
Probably less so.
Like
They're in
like
her
Bigfoot?
dimensional.
totally doable and shocking for me. Yeah, doable.
Do you think
I
do
could
you
try.
think that
I don't
Bigfoot
know.
uses
Yeah, I would
a
definitely
beaver
try
bong?
it. I don't know that I'd enjoy it, but I'd try it.
Ask Mel
yeah,
this
so
question.
for the receiver,
Oh, we'll save it for the later
no,
segment.
I would say probably you don't get high.
Yeah, probably not. I would say that like the amount of THC absorbed through the vaginal
would
wall
you
is
get
pretty,
high from
pretty
having
minimal.
bong water in
But
your
I don't know
vagina?
because boofing
Not
is a whole
bong
other
water,
story,
but
and
the
that's
fact that weed is
round
processed
skin
through it
zone.
that's
Who
touching
knows? Go.
blood,
The bong water.
but there's still blood receptors if that makes sense. And
Yeah,
what
but
gets you high is when
it's a
THC gets
Capillary.
fucking
capillaries,
moist
that's what I was-
membrane.
Yeah, there's still capillaries down there, and if a weed THC is processed through it, would it get into your capillaries? And then
I don't
thus
think there
make
would be
you high?
enough.
It would.
I don't think there would
it
be-
would.
I don't know how much it would take.
Well, that's what I'm
you know,
saying.
but,
I don't think
like-
that there would be enough transference from the smoke to the vaginal wall to be moved into the bloodstream enough to get you high. However, I'm not an expert and don't have a vagina, so this is the perfect time for this. If any of our listeners have ever used a beaver bong, please send it to Sean. Would you?
P.O. Box 364, Hayfork, California 96041. Addressed CO Beaver Bong, Black Sheep and Bad Apples.
And let us know what your
It's just a tube.
and let us know what your experience has been. If you've
The-
enjoyed it.
The
haven't
other
enjoyed
one
it.
thing I got to bring up is, have you ever looked at a bong and how much resin collects in the like parts of
Yeah.
it? That's what I'm really thinking about, is because when you put that and make an accessory part
That's
of the
rough.
human body
Don't
of a
do it.
bong, there's gonna be some like a dab rig. There's always those couple little quirks where it's like all the excess little.
So would you clean it out with salt and-
fucking
Yeah.
cervix?
So if you get resin with inside your body, is it gonna
Would you clean
go
it out
into
with
your
salt and
capillaries
alcohol?
like eating an edible. Like if you
It
ate a
will
chunk of
work
hash.
itself
Coconut oil,
out.
dude.
Like you guys just like, oh my god, like put something in your ass. Does it work itself out?
Ooh.
Perfect. Yeah.
Yeah,
okay.
but an ass
Next
is
topic.
like
Is a beaver
designed
bong
for expelling stuff.
Is a beaver bong like boofing?
Anyway,
Can we get off this fucking topic? Like seriously.
Moving along.
Very
All right.
uncomfortable.
Boofing
I
along.
don't
And it's
know.
time for the word of the day.
We'll do experiments.
today's word of the day is intransigence.
Intransigent.
I might be pronouncing it wrong, but I think I'm pronouncing it right. Intransigence. What do you guys think intransigence means?
Man,
By the way,
I just transient. Like it comes to
traipsing.
mind real quick because it sounds close to it, but like
An inability to move around?
Is that like wait? Because
No,
it's
the
not.
excess of moving around.
In is
And-
a negative.
intransigence.
Oh my gosh, it's like
but that's
extra.
transigent. I don't know what transigent.
So
More.
I'm thinking about the interdimensional thing, like Sasquatch being like the topic of the thing. So does that mean it can travel between these things? Like
I'll tell you if you're right.
No, so I'm not. God damn it!
Yeah, or something that travels between things.
Intransigence. Refusal to change one's view or to agree about something.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
That's-
and I want to thank our buddy
Yes.
Terry Johnson for having suggested that. I really appreciate that. I saw it.
He's the best one to flip in. Like he's the best one. Like that's kind of like a
no,
what?
it's
He suggested that.
he didn't suggest it. He posted it on Facebook, and I was like, "That's a beautiful word,"
Perfect.
and I am gonna steal it and use it. So I did.
Wait,
Oh my
dictate
God,
what
it's
the-
so
what was the
perfect.
description again?
Yeah,
a refusal
Terry.
to change one's mind or to agree upon something.
Oh.
And that's been a word of the day with dictate.
Well, I forgot to do the accent.
How that dictate.
How that dictate. God damn it. Anyway, so me and Sean were also talking earlier. Do you guys think that dogs feel guilty? Having asked that, before you answer, let me tell you this. Some scientists have decided, through science, that they don't feel guilt.
Through science.
They feel fear, and so they feel fear about like if they turn into the trash and they know that they're not supposed to get in the trash, and you come in and you're like, you're a bad dog, and they're like, oh, I am a bad dog, which is what we see. That's actually us anthropomorphizing their emotions, and so they actually don't feel guilt. They feel fear that they're going to get hit for having gotten into the trash. Now, I argued that while there's a bell curve, certainly, I think that there are some dogs that are smart enough to feel guilt. So I want to ask you guys again, do you think all dogs feel guilty or just none, some? We'll start with you, Mel. What do you think?
They know.
No, you
They
don't-
know if they've been like disciplined and it's you can just observe. They know if they've been like not even disciplined, like they know like hey, if you walk around and show them what's going on, they know.
Yeah.
I think so I think
You think it's kind of a fear
If-
reaction and not guilt?
no, I think it's more of like a telepathy thing. Like they know it's not a guilt.
Yeah.
Or maybe it is, but not. Wait, what was the other option?
Well, it's either fear, which
Fear?
is
No, not fear.
because
not fear.
because the scientific article that I'm referencing was suggesting that we anthropomorphize emotions. We assume that dogs have human emotions like guilt,
we
which is a
breed,
very complex
was-
thing.
we breed into something that like
Okay,
if you let
okay.
us down in this, that means I'm gonna spank you or hit
Yeah.
you or something. Like if you shit inside, I'm
That would be
gonna
fear.
rub your nose in
think
it,
so.
and that's gonna be fear. So the next time the dog shits inside, does he feel guilty about shitting inside, or is he fearing that you're gonna
Yeah.
discipline him, and that's why what he's referencing? But we take it as he's feeling guilty now for doing it because we bred into the dog this fear of shitting inside.
Yeah, absolutely interesting topic. There's really no way to tell which way or the
Yeah.
other, but all we can do is little experiments and see how and why and what is happening at the moment.
Yeah.
So what we kind of got into was
There's
almost like, can a dog feel remorseful about a certain subject?
Yeah.
And then it comes into a chain of effects. Will a dog feel bad because he lets you down later by not doing something he wanted, like because of a chain of effects? You know what I mean? Or is it a short-term thing where he's fearing that you're going to rub his nose in the shit because he shit inside, regardless of whether or not he can make it outside? Does he feel bad about that because, like, we feel bad, like, I let you down? Oh, man, I knew I could pull through for you, but I let you down. Or is it a, like, oh, shit, he's going to be upset that I had to do this?
Yeah, so guilt would be, in human sense, is like, oh, I was late to be picked up by my friend, and that caused us to stop at this other place, and then we got into a car accident, and if we had left, but if I had been on time, none of this series of events would have happened.
Oh, that's
versus the dog's perspective, which is, oh no, the lamp fell over because I'm too goddamn excited. So I think they've got a small level of guilt, but not like the layers of guilt that we think.
almost
What,
that,
what,
like,
what, no, hold on. What do you think, Sam?
So you said something that sort of resonated with me. Guilt is a super complex emotion.
Yeah.
It's not like
It's not
having
basic.
compassion or love or hate or fear. Those are very basic emotions. They strike with like a single neurochemical, basically. Whereas guilt is a bunch of neurochemicals that feed one after the next as you work through the social scenario that's causing you guilt, and that there almost needs to be a social scenario for you to have guilt anyway,
yeah.
right? Like if you were alone in the woods, the ability to feel guilt would be lessened because you don't feel so much guilt towards yourself.
Yeah.
Guilt is something that you feel towards other people.
There's no like failed
it's
objective.
relative.
It's
sure.
relative to compassion and these other things, but it's a bunch of different emotions working together one after another to produce the feeling of guilt. I don't think a dog works like that because they don't see outside of the immediate. You know?
I feel like we landed on the same page, or like nice in the middle. I don't think all dogs feel guilt. Like you were saying, it's like a product of how they were raised or whatever to feel it. It could be the fear thing because they're beat instead of actually like being properly punished to where they feel bad themselves instead of scared of fucking getting hit or some shit, you know?
I'm not saying that there aren't dogs out there that aren't smart enough to start to have those more complex social, especially when it comes to like a family and a dog that's a part of the family, like
A family unit
because
for sure.
and because like guilt comes out of compassion. Dogs totally are compassionate creatures. That's a very basic emotion, to have compassion. Something that almost all of us are capable of feeling. And it doesn't take much to feel compassion. You could feel compassion for a fucking sign on the side of the road that got knocked over by a truck. You know what I
That's
mean?
anthropomorphization.
No, because it's your feeling.
Well, yeah,
So-
My point is, we see compassion in a dog combined with just a little bit of a oops, I shouldn't have done that reaction, knowing that that was wrong.
Yeah.
But that's fear. So when you see a little fear and compassion from a dog at the same time, it's going to look like guilt.
Exactly.
So
And it's bordering it.
It is. Well, and it's like if dogs were like a really good computerized AI, I don't know why I said computerized and AI, but anyway, if they're like a really good AI, like they're like right on the cusp of actually quote unquote feeling guilt, because they've got all the factors there, like essentially all these different lines have met up at this central point, but the central point isn't quite there in a lot of dogs. I think that I think that there are dogs that are much more emotionally intelligent than other dogs and can experience what we would call guilt.
So what I do want to
But it's
bring
probably
up
a small
though
amount.
with this whole thing though is I feel it all is based upon, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, is let me say it in a broad subject, how you're raised. If you raise me in in an environment since a child from birth, and I know no different than to hold a gun and kill people that are a different color than me.
Lord of the Flies. Shit.
Let's
Wait, they do
just
that?
as a general subject, like I just want to like really bring it back to very like.
They didn't do that in Lord of the Flies.
Well, I'm just saying
Okay.
is like if from a child you gave me a gun and you said kill anybody that's a different color than you, and that's how I was raised, I would feel no remorse about that because that's what's right to me. That's how I was risen to think. That's in my
Risen to
brain,
think.
and remorse and guilt is based upon how you were raised. If that makes sense. So
It's hard to
with a
break out of
dog,
that.
with a
What's
dog
the
though.
social norm?
So hold on for a second. With a dog, we can all argue how it is right to raise a dog because it's a domesticated animal that we're allowed to raise, and this is a kind of a touchy subject for me because then how was your dog raised better than my dog, and how does my dog behave better than your dog? And we could argue about that all day long
Love.
It's like
down
parenting.
to
That's the
down to the
question.
down to the point
Yeah.
of does it sit, does it stay, does it listen to me, which now you're teaching another animal commands that it needs to listen to, and your point of how defined it is based on what you can train something to do.
Oh, I'm so glad.
So
that
if
we,
you bring that
It's the
into
point
a
of
human
love.
aspect though, where does guilt come into mind? Because guilt now is based upon a human aspect where we go, if you do this based on what I believe is right or wrong, you should feel guilty about it. But that's based on how you were raised. Now, teach a dog the same thing. Teach a dog to not sit on command and make it feel guilty for not doing it when you told it to. Just like tell a kid to grab a gun and shoot anybody that's of a different color than you or feel bad about that. Guilt can be that extreme is what I'm getting at, or it can be as simple as you feeling bad for letting a friend down because you said you were going to show up to their party and you didn't.
So, Ron, you had something to
So
say about the
that's-
situation?
no, I was just
It
saying.
gets
I think
weird.
it's super appropriate that we brought this up on All Nights or whatever. We're actually sponsored by Bottle of Remorse tonight. Now for dogs.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
really is for dogs.
And now brought to you
Bottle
by
of
dogs.
remorse.
Bottle of remorse. Bottle of remorse.
We hear.
I was tired of feeling, so I donated my remorse. But I donated too much. I realized I became a psychopath.
I felt one day that I had too much remorse. In excess, and I should give it to a belonged loved one. And then I donated too much, and now my remorse is depleted.
But I ended up finding out about Bottle of Remorse and how they bottled my remorse, and I could get it back.
At the lowest point in my time in life, I had so little empathy for any living thing that it was starting to carry on to my dog, my
But now I
fur baby. Now we both feel bottle of remorse for all animals alike.
If you have donated too much remorse to the company of remorse bottling, call us at the law firm of
Law firm.
BS MBA.
It's really like nature. There's a combination though. Like it's nature over nurture sometimes because if the breeding of the animal, like back to the dogs, like if the dogs are just like the breeding of it is like, all right, we're just gonna be like gangsta. We just need to like fuck anything.
We need the
up
meanest thing in the world.
altogether.
Tell him, little Chip.
It's serious. It's serious. Like,
Yeah.
and you get one of these dogs, it's done. Like, there's no way. There's no way that you can ever, like, switch that little like the switch of whatever it is, it will be, it's
So,
breeding.
and
Absolutely.
this is where I bring up a little bit of thing where you're like, I can't. There's some dogs that you can't click that switch in. Now, does that explain some of the prison system that we have? There are some people out there
No,
that we
'cause this is
cannot seem to click
humanity
that
that we're talking
switch in.
about. There's a
Apparently,
difference.
you know what I mean? Where
When it
there's
comes to animals and humanity, there's a difference. Like,
I think there really
that's
is.
what
and
I guess I'm
think,
trying to bring up is the difference to find between those because we
well,
can,
and
is-
well,
we explain like a human thing
'Cause
like
we are-
guilt.
we have to
We
understand that
are
humans have very
animals.
complex emotions, and not that dogs don't, but our human our emotionality is as I said, a lot more complex than dogs are, and so like when we related over to prisoners who, despite socioeconomics and the way people are raised, like I think that's what our prison system is intended to be. I don't think that's what it is, but it's an attempt to be to rehabilitate people who are look at it in the comparison of dogs. If you've got a vicious, mean animal and you put it into a quote unquote prison, ideally the dog comes out of prison as a nice fucking member of society.
no.
But we're also
Yeah.
comparing fucking animals to fucking human
Well,
beings.
No,
that's
and
what
that
I'm
comparison
getting at,
is
though.
not fair.
It's not fair at all.
It's not.
Yeah,
No, and that's why I'm relating
Yes.
the two is because what is the difference in how we treat animals and how we treat human beings?
The difference
Because-
is consciousness and being able to assess a situation and looking inwards. That's probably the best way to comparatively kind of like say that no, that's not the way with like dogs and stuff like that. That's not it. Like,
well, because I think what we're talking about is like the difference between consciousness and non-consciousness.
Well, what do
Hear
you-
me out.
yeah.
And so, like when we think about human beings as the apex predator on the planet, that like we are the epitome of intelligence. Then you look at everything that we deem as lesser than or below us, and we compare them on an intelligence chart. So when we go to bring when we bring human lives into that of being treated like cattle or animals, it's a completely different thing because then we're losing our humanity.
So-
Essentially, what we're doing is we're saying that there are a certain group of people that are lesser than
Yeah.
and aren't as good as us.
That's
And what we're doing is essentially we're creating this dichotomy where it gives us the right to see people as subhuman, to see people as they fuck them and their rights. They don't deserve to be a human being. They don't
So-
deserve to feel that.
There is a
but these are human
So,
beings. These
this
are
is-
human beings, and
but
that's the
this
thing
is-
that we just can't we can't look
okay,
away
we,
from
we
that.
spent too much time
No,
on this
no.
topic. I'd like to get back to the apex predator things, though. Do you think Bigfoot feels remorse?
so. This is what I was
What is
getting
the
at.
Segue,
topic
segue,
of
segue.
No, I'm bringing
Jesus
this
Christ.
all the way
What is
around.
the
I'm bringing
topic?
this all the way around, and then we'll take a short break. So, if an animal can feel guilt, and with all that type of stuff, what we do is we put in this subject matter
That's a
with
good
what we
question.
think as humans, other animals, creatures, other things in this world can feel, and with guilt and stuff like that. What we do though is we criticize it. What we say is, what happens if a dog's untrainable? What happens if a
Well-
dog's too angry? What happens if a dog crosses that line that
Well,
we
we-
consider?
point
Now,
that you're
hold on,
making-
hold
We've
on.
lived it. We've
Hold on,
seen
Is we
it.
put
hold
it
on.
down.
We put that dog
Yeah.
down.
Dong.
Dog. we'll get around.
Had to
Dong
say
down
it,
there,
had to
daddy,
say it.
daddy,
Had to
daddy.
point
No,
that
Technical
okay.
out.
castration,
Don't have to
baby.
point
Now
it
back to the
out.
point though.
You
What we
don't.
do though is we put that animal down, right? And do we do it humanely or inhumanely?
Oh my God.
Now, hold
obviously,
on.
Yes. Well, humanely.
No,
every
but there's
time.
both ways. It's an arguable subject matter. Do you shoot the dog in the head or do you put it down with an injection? Now, let me relate this to
Sometimes shooting
there
a
is
dog in the head's
humans
the
that
main
do
thing to do.
inhumane things. And what we argue about in capital punishment and all these other things is how do you put this person down that is not trainable, that is not anything else? Do we put him down humanely or inhumanely, just like a dog? which puts it on a subject level of
I'm sorry, what the
animals.
fuck are you talking about? Pitter patter, because, I don't know what.
So bring it back to
Heavy shit
Bigfoot.
right now.
That's where I'm like,
Segue.
Ron,
Heavy
just,
shit.
God damn it.
bringing it back to your Bigfoot.
Yeah,
Your Bigfoot.
yeah,
Medium-sized
huge. I'm
foot.
putting my huge foot down. Fuck it. I think we should just like.
All right, did you guys make sure to stretch before you made that goddamn reach?
Yeah, it's fucked up, man.
So
That-
now
I
let's
thought we were
Jesus
talking about
Christ.
whether dogs felt guilt or not.
Yeah, I didn't realize we were going
And
to talk
we're-
about
now
whether
we're talking
humans
about
were
the fucking
dogs or not.
Prison system.
Wait, what?
And Ron, adults are talking.
Oh, cool.
No, they're not.
Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Ain't no adults around here. I don't know who's
Yeah,
an adult.
We're about to
but-
talk about Bigfoot, and
I mean,
we
we're all
can't handle the
pieces of
prison
shit.
system. Let's have
We've
an
got
adult
no hope for
conversation
humanity
now.
anymore. We're all just terrible. Honestly, the only thing that really gives me
Right.
hope for humanity is the fact that maybe one day we'll get the science to discover like the metaphysics and like Bigfoot and shit like that, because then everything would start making a little bit more sense. But until then, we're gonna go for a little commercial break, and when we come back, we're gonna hang out with Miss Mel.
What?
Little
what?
Chip. Little Chip.
And
We're
now
gonna
a
talk
word
about
from our
What
sponsors.
What up?
Sam Squanch's sponsors.
That's some crazy shit. Like I didn't even know.
Do you miss that old-timey smooth feel of extra flammable polyester? Well, this Christmas, from Old Navy, flammable Christmas sweaters made with real polyester, bringing a little immolation to your holiday celebration.
Now backed by corporate marketing, Old Navy brings you flammable sweaters, sweatshop made out of country with cheap investment. They're going to bring the holiday spirit to your home.
It's guaranteed to be the hottest item this holiday season.
Can't always be there for my family and keep them warm. But with Old Navy's custom design, I can make sweaters for the family and keep them extra warm all season long. Thank you, Old Navy. You truly saved Christmas.
Hi, I'm Dr. Runyon. Our team has developed a new use for those pesky oceanic plastics. Buy yourself or your loved one a flammable sweater. Ergonomically correct and flammably direct. Flammable sweater.
Well, I was pretty excited come Christmas Eve when little Joey walked into a candle and just, whew, man, that was it. He burned, I mean, whew, man, it didn't burn anything. There's a little black spot on the ceiling. There's ashes on the floor. No more Joey. You know what that meant? More turkey for me.
Now available on Black Friday with equal opportunity employment. Get one for your family.
Now in multiple colors. Soot black.
And don't forget about our custom designs. You can send in your own print, and we can make a Santa Claus snorting cocaine. We can have a Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer humping one of the others. Like, you just send in your custom designs, and we'll make a shitty, flammable sweater out of it.
I love my sparkle sweater. It's flammable and comfortable and everything that I ever imagined. Thank you, flammable sweater.
Fun.
Fun
for the family.
Hi, I'm Dr. Macapa. Welcome to this commercial for Bottle of Remorse.
Do you not feel any regret for all those dumb things that you've done, all those people that you've hurt? Are you a sociopath? Well, now you can fix that with a little dose of Bottle of Remorse.
I used to wonder why I never felt apologies. I never felt sad for anything. I realized I have no remorse. So a trusted individual sent me to a doctor, and I grabbed myself a brand new bottle of Remorse. Ever since then, my life has changed. I now understand.
I take a bottle right before I go to court so that I show character and don't get jail time.
And Bottles of Remorse is brought to you by donors like you. We ask that with every blood drive, you ask about their Bottled of Remorse donation drive. Because if they don't have it already, they're soon to. Having said that, we need to also address that you can only donate 50% of your remorse per month, and you can only donate once a month. As if we remove too much remorse, you'll become a sociopath, like the people that we're trying to treat.
We've synthesized remorse into a bottle.
I gave just a little bit too much remorse, and well, see, I needed the money, and so I donated twice in 1 month, and now I killed every cat in the neighborhood. I couldn't care less about it.
Remorse. Bottled, brought to you by people and for people like you.
Side effects may include overwhelming depression and caring about others.
Remember, the first step in an apology is remorse and acknowledgement of it. Thank you.
Good evening. I'm Bob McGrath.
And I'm Steve Stevenson.
This is CNN Frontline Reports. The duck incursion.
The duck incursion, as you know, has been going on for 6 months now, and we've already lost the southern half of California all the way over to the Texas Panhandle. It's safe to say it's been a massacre.
The Navy reports that its entire 7th Fleet stationed in San Diego was destroyed, except for the submarines, which fled underwater and out to sea. All the Navy planes in the area were downed by skeins of ducks, reporting 36 lost pilots and millions upon millions of dollars in collateral damage.
We're getting news tonight that the mandarin ducks from China have been flown over, literally speaking, to join the mallard ducks. We're also getting reports that maybe quail have been joining the ranks as well.
There have been skeins of wood ducks sighted over Vermont, causing panic.
And we would like to report tonight that our war correspondent and
Jeff
a personal
Durham.
friend of mine has passed.
He was dragged off by a skein of mandarins just this afternoon. It was
So,
horrible.
We're going to our substitute. War correspondent.
Karen, a.k.a. Little Chip Sanchez.
is live in Oakland.
Hey, Little Chip, how's it going?
Chip is here. We're here. Can you hear me?
We can hear you.
We here.
Oh my gosh.
What is up, Little Chip?
Here we go. So, in Oakland, we're here right now. There are so many ducks. We don't know what's happening.
What's the military response look like, Little Chip?
Exponentially growing every year. I can't do this. I don't know if I can do this.
It's too many ducks.
There are ducks everywhere.
It's duck
Little
talk, yo.
ones, little
Yo,
ones,
yo, yo.
big ones, everywhere. We're trying to figure it out. We're gonna interview a couple of people here on the street. Check it out.
This shit's foul, son.
So foul.
Waterfowl, bitch.
Oh, shit.
Little
Ghost
Chip, can we-
riding a
who
foul.
are these?
Yeah, fucking little chips out cloud. Check
Little
that out,
Chip,
boys.
Little-
We out here.
Yo, so we got this new hip hop we're gonna go down with.
Thanks,
It's
Frank.
a little bit of
Fucking
duck.
Little Chip,
Can we get the
Is-
Can we
is
get
that-
the names of the people you're interviewing,
So,
Little Chip?
we
is that your
got-
cousin?
We got
Oh.
Deerhorn,
We got Ron the
Deerhorn
Quack.
Buck, and we got Sweet Hat Bro.
We got
And
Sweet Hat Bro
right
and Ron the
on-
Quack
right on,
coming at
like-
it with a new album.
Deerhorn
We
fucking
wanna-
Sweet Hat, bro.
Ducks coming down in the neighborhood. Don't know what to do when the 6-4 going to the pop.
Oh, fuck. Ah, goddamn it. Oh, my eye.
Oh my God!
Okay.
Oh my God!
Little Chip, Little Chip,
Little Chip!
Little
We're
Chip.
here, we're here,
Look,
we're
okay,
here.
okay.
Everyone's dispersed. Everyone's dispersed. We can't find anyone. They're coming down. They're marching down. We need to find safer territory because they're marching down.
Well, okay. We advise everyone in the Oakland area then to find safe haven.
We're getting reports that the Air Force
Hopefully,
is coming
Little
in.
Chip will be okay.
They will be bringing in what they call the hammer down protocol to the Bay Area.
We don't
So,
know what that means, but it doesn't sound good.
This is an official announcement. Hammer down protocol is enforced in the Bay Area. We are asking all residents to evacuate as immediately as they can. We're
And now
trying-
for the weather.
And we're back. And we're back, and we're back. Looking at Ron's beautiful Christmas sweater. And
Ron, where the
it's
fuck did you get
taken.
that?
Oh, dude, it's the hottest item of the season. Actually,
Jelly.
Yeah,
Totally
dude.
jelly.
Did you get that at Old Navy? Is that one of their extra flammable polyester ugly Christmas sweaters?
Here, let me check.
Yep, sure is.
I don't even think I left a mark on you. That's amazing.
Yes.
Yeah, now you're just naked without
That's
a.
Old Navy
Hairless is a fucking
quality,
baby,
right?
Hey, I
too.
needed a shave.
Were you always that hairless, or
Mostly from the waist up.
you looking good? Honestly, the weirdest thing about it is that humans aren't supposed to be hairless. So that gives me a very shitty segue into our next subject.
I like it.
We're going to be
I like
talking
it.
about
Mm.
Bigfoot,
We
Sasquatch,
should.
whatever you want to call them. And
I-
first of all, I'm going to tell
I want,
Miss Bell, you're somebody who knows a lot about Sasquatch, right?
and I want to ask the first question
little
just to
bit,
start
a
it
little
out,
bit.
Yeah.
just to get the segue going.
A little bit.
Is there a difference, or what is the difference between Sasquatch and Bigfoot, or is it just a name?
All right. So I would say that there is no difference. Okay. It's just kind of like just a different,
Name for the same thing.
yeah. So
potato,
there's so
potato.
many,
Is there like
exactly.
subspecies?
There's so many different names. There are so many different names for the same, it's the same entity.
Okay.
Okay, so
Okay.
there's so many. So, in native terms, there are like the Yao Yao or the Yowie in Australia. In Russia, it's the Yeti. In America, it's the
Wait,
anglicization
so
of the term for the native. Instead of Sasquatch, it's an anglicization of their term. So Sasquatch is derived.
does that mean then that Sasquatch, Bigfoot, Yeti is not just a northwestern
Pacific
American?
North? No.
It's a worldwide.
Exactly.
Okay.
I
Now
would
I've
say
got
yes.
some other questions for later.
They
All right.
exist. It's another term, an AKA, AKA.
It's international, like Pitbull. Worldwide.
Absolutely. All over there are it's forest people, it's forest spirits, forest people, forest entities that we see.
Okay.
So I'm gonna ask you
Bring
one
it on,
question,
bring
and
it
then
on.
I
Yeah.
just want you to fucking run through it.
Let me go.
So
Let's go.
my next question would just be, so is this a civilization, or is this like so like jaguar? Is there a species, but they exist kind of in solidarity, or they live isolated lives? Is it the same thing with Bigfoot, or is there like culture?
There are
and
different
civilization?
races of
Absolutely.
Bigfoot, just like there are
Absolutely.
different
All
races
different-
of people.
Ooh,
All
there's-
different places
ooh.
that we go, all different. There's always natives that have their traditional terms, their language for the actual, like, for the names of these forest entities
So-
that exist. They're
So
there. They're
would you
there.
say they originated from a specific continent and then traveled outward? So they're Russian, but they came to America, or American and went to Russia,
I
or are
don't-
they? That's where I was kind of trying to.
Okay.
Have they?
I don't know where they originated.
Immigrated,
It should be a little bit. I mean, it should be. It gets weird real quick. Like,
Okay.
just like with humanity. Like, do
yeah,
we
yeah.
know where our roots are from?
Gotcha.
I
Yeah,
don't. Do you know? We that's the question of life. Like, we don't know, and all these other entities as well. They all kind of. These are things that we encounter and things that we see, and
All right. Well,
that's.
you know what? Spill your beans, you Bigfoot hider. Like what? You keeping Bigfoot under wraps? Hold
Give
on.
us-
Yeah,
give
Sam.
us
What are
the
you doing with the
download,
chips?
damn it.
Sam,
Okay.
Well, A, I'm bored
what's-
because you guys won't
let
let
you
me
talk.
ask some questions.
first fit
Go
it
for
all
it.
in.
Oh,
hungry.
I'm sorry, we're not paying enough attention to Sam.
So-
We're asking about Sam
liver over
Squanches.
there.
Very specific
What up,
questions about
chopped liver?
Bigfoot right
All
now.
right, Sam.
I'd like to
Sam,
ask.
do you have any questions?
About Bigfoot? Yes, I do. Thank you.
No,
Lori,
not about
for-
Bigfoot. I'm just kidding.
Why didn't we call him Little Chip? Like, seriously.
So, 'cause these little chips are delicious.
What brand are they?
So I believe that they're they're remorse chips.
I'd hate to go on a
Plug.
tangent, guys, but
No, Sam's
So-
Sam's on the
let's
tangent.
hear this question. Bam.
Get over the chips. So, are there more than one type of? Is there more than one type of Sasquatch?
Yeah, that
Right,
was
like
the
there-
question. Yeah,
Right.
On different
Not-
continents, there are different there's different terms for all different tribes, even that
Not terms,
have
but I mean like
terms.
He's
like-
talking about like subgenuses and like so you've got like
Yeah.
you've got
different
like you got
different
white
si-
people and black people
Okay,
and Asian
okay.
people and Native American people.
Absolutely.
Ooh, what about the abdom? I can't say the word. The
Abominable
abominable
snowman?
snowman.
Yeah,
That's-
yeah, the
He's-
Yeti,
yeah,
the
he-
abominable
the
smoke.
the
yeah,
Yeti's the
yeah,
type
yeah.
of Sasquatch.
Absolutely, there are different. Absolutely, different.
Okay.
Just like so, as many of different genetics and things that we have. Absolutely, and all the different continents too. They all have in even like subcategory. Like it's yes.
Okay.
It's
That
and they're
answers my
there.
first question. My second question is
'Kay.
this: do you think that Sasquatch is capable of racism against other Sasquatch?
What the fuck?
Hey, oh, that's a good question.
That's a seriously. I'm like serious societal.
stupid questions in a row.
Jesus Christ.
Fuck!
No, does
So here,
All
I'll
right,
answer
yeah.
this.
Yeah,
So,
does a Yeti feel
so here we
remorse
go. We're gonna
against
get a
a-
little deep. Like they are interdimensional, and so there are So the way I started was that like it's flesh and blood. They're real, like flesh and blood. They're there. Like if there's footprints, which have been like absolutely. They've been they're in oh my
There's
God,
been a
what's
lot
the
of like
word?
documented footprints, is what I'm hearing you saying.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Lots of
like
evidence.
Doctor like checking it out
What
and
doctor? Doctor so and so.
so yeah,
consult
no.
the
So no, Jeff Meldrum, he is like the best person to look into. He has documented a bunch of these footprints all around the world. And the curious thing is that they, it's either nothing in the woods or like nothing. And then all of a sudden, bam, 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 all these footprints, he will cast them or other people who are like you and I, anyone can do this. Like we can
If
then,
you find the footprint.
Yeah.
then sometimes also too like there's footprints and then nothing afterwards,
Where like the
and
footprints
it's
just disappeared.
just yeah, absolutely. And so I don't know how that. Yes, Ron has a question.
Okay, so this is
my
the
God.
if the Bigfoots are interdimensional, right? From what I understand about them, I don't know anything. But if they were, would they leave footprints?
Yes. Because they have to
That's
exist.
why
in
Yeah.
they're leaving the footprints, but just in this because they're
Oh, because they're hopping
traveling
between
through
the
multiple
dimensions.
Yeah, you
dimensions.
can't
That's
so,
why they're so much harder to find.
Well,
Yeah.
and then
so it's
that-
walking the same path in every dimension, but it's only leaving its footprints in parts of each dimension along the path that it's traveling.
damn, that's sexy.
well, and
It's pretty legit.
putting
if you ask
mul-
me, as far as like
putting
a mode of
multidimensionalism
travel.
aside,
Cool. It's pretty cool. It gives me hope. That,
putting
like,
yeah, but putting multidimensionalism aside, I would actually be curious to find these same like tracks, and then to see if maybe there's like evidence that he jumped into the trees and started swinging through the trees like a some sort of ape or something like that, because that
That's
would honestly be
possible.
much more fascinating than
I mean,
interdimensionality is kind of like the
this is
world's
clearly
like
a member
craziest,
of the
brilliant
ape
thing in the
family,
world. But
like us.
the fact that he can avoid like leaving tracks, I think, would be much more fascinating. Just because he's like, yeah, they think I'm interdimensional, guys, and like gives pounds to his homeboys, and he's like, I just climb up in the trees and fucking take off in the same
Trolling
direction.
us.
I gotta
Yeah.
be
That's
honest.
the cool thing. Like they're
Pun
so
intended.
huge and so powerful and so cool. They have all these like, and we have these powers that they're trying to like teach us how to like. Humanity has lost a lot of
It's magic.
powers.
Yeah.
Okay, we like consciousness, like just thinking, just the power of thought and consciousness, like that is where this is what they're reaching out a little bit
Yeah.
to teach us, and this interdimensional shit like
Yeah.
is
So-
so freaking cool.
You've talked a little bit about this before the podcast. You've got kind of an experience that I heard about where like you had some sort of interaction with
It changed my
with
life.
Mr. BF.
Yeah, it changed my life.
Yeah. What was that
It changed
experience?
both of our lives.
Yeah,
It kind of like diverted like what in the world is going on, what is happening.
Yeah.
So
Could you do you want to describe that experience
sure,
a little bit?
yeah, a little bit. So my partner and I were just hanging out outside of the
You don't have to be that specific. You just
we're
say
hang-
campground.
yeah,
or
we're hanging
something.
out. We're hanging out in a
Are you at home,
a
campground?
place. We're hanging out. Thank you. So we're hanging out in a place where there's a lot of hikers,
Okay.
and yeah, so we go check out this underground gate, this cave that was just like you have to like walk around. You have to like take your shoes off, like to see the actual like cave and waterfall. Take your shoes off. So everyone's like taking their shoes off. All of our there's so many people there. We're at a place where there's cars everywhere, people everywhere, children, kids, families.
Oh,
Everyone
shit.
is everywhere. This is what makes this so freaking crazy. So, we check out the cave, got the waterfall shots, whatever. We come back out, and the first thing I said to my partner is like, "Hey, I just want to smoke a cigarette, warm up my feet, out of the water at this bench that was a beautiful like outlook. It was just like this beautiful like a beautiful
Like what are they called?
vista,
Yeah,
like
Vista Point.
vista,
Yeah.
exactly, yes. So we're there.
God
We're
damn, I'm
looking.
stoned.
We put our backpacks down. Our feet, we're barefoot. I'm like looking, whatever. We're looking up, and all of a sudden, there is this entity. All right, so we put our backpacks down on. I don't know how to like say this. So it's.
So you
How
can
do we
visualize it.
how do we
Can I ask
so
you questions
there's-
about it?
Yes.
So were
yes.
you on like the beach, on like the opposite side of where everybody was hanging out? Were you on like a little island?
No, so we come out from this gulch,
Mm-hmm.
all right, from where our feet were so cold. We come back out, and then there was like this beautiful vista area, put our backpacks down, and then behind because of vista is if you sit on this
bench.
on the bench, you look and have this beautiful view.
Yeah.
The opposite, which is what we were doing, is put our backpacks down, and yeah, we just put them down, looking around, just rummaging around, and then behind the bench is this huge like hill this mountain rather, and then just like it's flat, like a flat top. I would say like maybe I don't know, 50 feet away.
Where was this, by the way? Which town?
This would be right outside of the Great Sand Dunes. Great Sand Dunes National Park, which is beautiful. Check it out.
Plug.
Oh my gosh,
Plug.
it's crazy. It's so nice. So we put it down. I'm looking, and so we're looking towards the mountain. Digging in my backpack, looking for cigarettes to smoke.
Oh yeah.
And then I hear my partner Bobby's like, Mel, grab the binoculars. And I was like, what? So I look over to him. I'm like, I'm digging in my bag, looking at him. I'm not even looking in my bag. I'm looking at him and trying to like follow his line of vision up this ridge, up to this flat top ridge. And halfway up, God fucking damn it. Like there's someone. There's someone, and I'm thinking at this point, it's like a photographer.
Yeah.
Or like, what's going on? Like, is this a photographer? So I'm looking, and I'm still like, and then when he said like, get the
binoculars.
Binoculars,
You're still
I'm like,
rummaging.
Oh my, I'm still got him. We're passing them left to right. We're looking, and and then there was a certain point that I was like, okay, there's no way that a photographer is going to be hiding behind a bush, looking behind, and just kind of like peeking, and like doing this peeking.
So, can you just describe where you're looking? Because you're looking behind the bench, and you're looking up this mountain, and like halfway up the mountain, from what I'm understanding, you're seeing this thing, whatever it is, human or whatever, behind a bush, and he's kind of like peeking back and forth to look for his escape run, to make sure nobody's looking.
I don't know. This is the part that gets like really, really, really cool. Like it was almost like this entity is just wanted to make itself known in a non-threatening way.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And so this entity is behind it, and I'm looking, and so mind you, we have these binoculars on us, like we're passing it, and that's when I start getting a little bit like, okay, what is happening? Pass it back and forth to the point that like I was like shaking to the point that I would like have to hold my breath and look and just hold my breath, just because I kind of knew in my heart of hearts, like, this is something different.
Yeah.
This is something different.
So can you describe like what you could see through the binoculars? Because it sounds like you couldn't see it very clearly.
Absolutely. So this entity, I could see part of its head, like part of its head and shoulder area, and
what did that look like?
it was shaggy and white, and that's when I started losing it, because I'm like, this is not a photographer. Like, who in the hell in the world is just like in the
wearing
world,
a white
like,
ghillie suit, if that's what,
exactly. Like,
so
who
what was
is in the world?
surroundings like? Was it camouflage? Could you say the white against the background? What was the color of the background? It was
just a shaggy white, and then dark in the face, and then.
He's asking what the landscape looked like behind it.
Yeah, was it like camouflage considering the landscape and things?
So it's like New Mexico area, like it's kind of like here too, like kind of like
Scrub Brush, Manzanita,
a little bit
dusty, sandy,
a couple of trees here and there, and then nothing, so it's not like complete it's not like thick brush. It's not like, it was like, trees here and that's what made it so crazy, because I'm like, all right, this is insane. There's nothing, like, we can see whoever is behind this, like, let's just wait it out. Let's wait it out and see who this is.
Yeah. Maybe they'll come down and like take off their gear, and we'll see that it's actually a photographer. In the case
And a
of
photographer would,
Yeah, yeah.
oh, take your pictures, get it, and you'd see them like stand up and like, hey, what up,
Yeah.
what up, photographer, what up.
It's
But
funny. I had
no.
the same
So-
experience with White Mountain. I was
For our audience who doesn't know who White Mountain is, there's a guy in town named Jim White Mountain. Very good guy, but he's gigantic and elderly. So he
and really likes to peek around things, to look at you from afar, with the Yeti-esque beard. Also, I'm not saying Bigfoot's White Mountain.
So
I'm
the
not
rest of
saying
the
he's not.
story.
yeah,
the
yeah.
Rest of the
I was
story.
going to ask you.
So, like I said, there's people everywhere. Everyone is parked there and hiking and checking out this whole zone. We're just like in this little like chill zone to just like, oh. But no, we weren't looking the opposite way. We're looking up the hill. Instead of like looking at the vista,
yeah.
Like
we're
most
looking the
people would.
opposite way. We're looking up. So then we're switching. Bob and I are like switching the binoculars, and for the life of me, I'm just like, I just want to see the face. I just want to see what is this, and I could not for the life of me. All of a sudden, okay, no lie, people down in the gulch were coming back up to just make their way down to their
Their
spot,
vehicles
to their vehicles,
Yeah.
and then as soon we could see their little jackets and all the colors as they were coming up. No lie, this is it. This is like the real thing. This entity stands up and absolutely dwarfs the shrub it was behind, kind of peeking out. Just dwarfs this shrub, stands up, and then as these people are coming, like, Bob, oh my God, it's walking, it's going. It stands up, and just that classic boom, 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 like up and over that flat ridge.
Starts walking.
Up and over. And that is when I just feel bad how I reacted. I just feel
What was your
so
reaction to
bad.
that? Was it like shock and awe? Like, is that what makes you feel
I just hyperventilating. My hands, I couldn't grasp my water bottle. I was just, and these people, so this trio that walk up, they're like, oh, what's going on? What happened? And they were just, and I'm like, oh my God, we saw something. We saw something. And this trio, they were just like, what? Maybe it's a bear. And then Bob looked at me. He's like, yeah, Mel, it's a bear. It's a bear.
totally
Like, it's a bear. Like, yeah. Like, how do you describe, like I think we saw I don't know what's happening. How do you tell?
So I don't know much about Sasquatches, but I was very curious about this. Do Sasquatches have like family units? Are they paired up and like do they have children? Like how does is there a social bond, I guess, between other?
Yeah, there should be.
Sasquatches?
Like, we're derived off of them.
Yeah.
That's my thought. Like,
Well, I guess
yeah,
my
they
question
have-
is like is there a mama and a papa who raise a little kiddo and like have you ever heard of
Absolutely.
anything about like seeing a family unit going through the woods?
Do you think that when he walked up over the ridge, I guess if they're interdimensional, did he transport to another place out of like when you saw him for a minute, but like do you feel like when he hit the ridge it was like a UFO that just like whooshoo,
she
and it
was
was
saying
gone?
he
Or
fucking
It was
hightailed it.
possible.
He was
Yeah,
like,
he just
oh
booked
look,
it.
police!
It was
And
a
then just, like,
three.
straight up the ridge, right?
Yeah, like the other ones that didn't believe it. Like, you have to, when it comes to these topics, like you have to, Bob and I, we went there looking for a flippin' a waterfall. Like, we didn't even go there looking for, Like, we're never looking for
Yeah, yeah.
Sasquatches.
Totally.
Where are they? Blah blah blah. Like, no, nobody's looking. Like,
It's-
it was so random.
Yeah, like
That's the
when you
thing,
go
it was
looking
so
for
random.
something, it generally doesn't pop up. But when you're just having a
And
good time, that's when stuff pops up.
So,
they
have you guys ever had any experiences with Sasquatch?
No, actually, this is the main reason I'm a skeptic. Actually, when we were kids, we used to go on these like little family summer trips and shit, and have some good times with the family, like a reunion like style atmosphere, right? And
Yeah.
so, our bitch of an aunt. You guys have met her, you know, Aunt Jerry and Mike or whatever. So they thought it was hilarious where they put on this like whole fucking theater thing to where Mike went across the way and dressed up in a full Sasquatch suit, like while we're like on the river.
that's
it's like-
that's fun.
It was
though.
fucked
Like,
up.
hell
Like,
yeah.
it
No,
ruined the
that's-
whole thing for me. This is why I'm a skeptic. I was like, nah,
Ah.
fuck it. It's some guy in a suit. Fucking Uncle Mike. Get out of the bushes. Like, come on, you know?
All right,
Like,
all right.
That's why I'm such a skeptic, but I'm really fascinated with the whole interdimensional aspect of this because I haven't heard too much of it.
Yeah,
but
I'm-
that seems more likely for
I'm
me.
pretty new on the interdimensional thing. I thought this was like a creature in the forest that just happens to be a
Absolutely.
sense way back time that hasn't actually killed out yet. Because then we watched a couple other videos about dude that has a dad.
That's a
or
whole nother thing.
I know,
We should
but
bring
what
that up
I'm getting
later.
at is
Yeah,
that dude that has a dad that
No,
killed
that's-
one in 1953 or something like that, and then so there's these like it's a trophy reward now, almost like I got the white elephant, you know, type of deal, and I got his tusks and or whatever, you know what I mean?
Are you
killed.
talking about the Bigfoot penis
There's
guy?
always going to be hoaxers.
We're gonna bring it up here in a little
There's
bit.
always.
So I just
Somebody
I,
wants to be.
I
the
never took it as
person.
an interdimensional being. I always took
Yeah.
it as an actual creature that survived like an alligator type
Well,
of deal.
That's
from
kind of the way that I've
prehistoric
seen it, too.
times. I was
Flesh
like,
and blood
oh.
for me. No,
Yeah.
for me, that's what I was like.
Yeah.
Flesh and blood. It's got to be something in the woods that
Like a
How
redwood
are-
tree. It's just been around for so long, we still see it, and we're like, damn. That's
Well,
an- that's a huge old tree that's been around for way too long.
the thing that
type of
fascinates
deal.
me is about the whole thing is that there's like we only can explore so many percentage of each fucking forest in the United States. We can only explore, or not in the United States, we'll just say the entire planet. We can only explore so much of the ocean floor, and so there's a lot more mystery to this world than what we've kind of been led to believe. And so for me, like, there's a lot of things that I think may be proven in the future due to like our advances in science. And so for me,
Yeah,
Sasquatch is a very interesting idea because he, like, you can't prove a
He-
negative. Well, whatever it is.
She, that one,
Did
that
you just
famous.
assume Sasquatch's gender?
I don't know anything about
No, but
Sasquatch's
that's not
gender.
what I'm saying.
I'm not
That's
gonna.
what I'm saying. Like
I'm not gonna assume they even have genders. I'm just
that
gonna, it's just
famous.
gonna be.
Here
We
we
just
go.
know they
I'll
have a
say.
big
I'll
foot.
say it.
I'm just gonna be patriarchal
That
and
famous
and,
walking
yeah.
one was a she. She has tits. She has like there. It was never disproven.
Mm-hmm.
It was the Patterson Gimlin film, and if you like if you just
But it
like
was
go
never
and
proven
talk to them
either.
and see,
Yeah.
they're just like guys in the woods. Like the one was a filmmaker, one's like this guy. Just like they're all just like
Well, and
One was a
and-
filmmaker.
and I don't want to get so hung
not
up
a
on.
filmmaker. One had his film stuff.
I don't want to get so hung up
And
on the
it's
gender thing because like I don't know its gender and I said that out actually had a mistake.
They. It's
So I duly
they. It would
apologize,
be a
but-
they.
But I am very curious as to like if they have like family units and how they work out and so for me there's like this understanding as I was getting back to it. There's this understanding that we don't really know a whole lot about
'Kay.
our ecosystem. We know what we can capture and we know what we can find, but we are still discovering brand new species throughout the entire world. And so like there's no part of me that thinks that Sasquatch doesn't exist because the absence of evidence is not the evidence of absence. You know what I mean? And so like
Yeah,
I
for
think
sure.
I think that one of them is out there at the very least, one of them, because we've got a little bit of evidence here and there, and like.
There's
Yeah,
many.
and
There's
there's
well,
many.
what I mean to say is like if you were to look at it as an outside observer, there's a bunch of breadcrumbs that like to the
Okay.
outside observer is like, well, I mean, those are kind of loose points that make sense.
Well,
But when you finally get into it, I mean, it's been seen throughout the world. There's so many facts, and so like I'm not one of the people that's gonna be like that they don't exist, because the fact of the matter is like, what do we know?
well, and what I find it makes it skeptical and believable at the same time is there's rare races of people in the world
Oh yeah,
where they're only specific to a
The
region, or they're like a very
Amazon.
small, like if we want to say endangered.
The Congo.
There's
I've got actually an example.
But I
of
mean,
that too, yeah.
there's an endangered species of people, if that makes sense, where it's like this culture
It's
is literally
heartbreaking.
almost gone.
It's
And they're
absolutely
very rare,
heartbreaking.
and there's like a veteran of a war, let's say, they're almost all dead when you calculate time into effect and stuff like that. So with cultures of people, there is some cultures and races of people that are really old that are barely together anymore. It's an island,
Sean.
some part in the world. So that's where I think it's believable.
Sean, do you know
with-
about
It's
the
not-
Senegalese?
No.
So there's an island, I believe it's like 300 miles off the coast of India, and it's called the Senegal Islands. I might be getting the name incorrect, but it's actually been secured and essentially quarantined by most
Indian government.
the Indian government. Yeah. And so what this island is a bunch of native people who have lived there as far as anybody can remember. But they will murder anybody who steps foot on the island. And it's not like, hey, we brought you food.
like that Christian dude.
Oh,
that
yeah,
guy
the
was
guy,
like,
that's
yeah,
the
the
island
guy
he's
who
talking
tried to
about.
bring all
Yeah.
that
I'm a
Christian
missionary.
bullshit was like, I'm
Don't
here to
shoot me."
save you. And actually, they like
Guess what?
the international
Save yourself.
the international
Done.
community
Yeah.
was pissed off at that guy for dying on that
Done.
island because like best believe they fucking killed him because he could have brought like smallpox onto the island and decimated their population. And so they estimate that there's something like 300 people who can live on this island. But it's kind of an analog for I think what we're all talking about with like Sasquatch is that like these people live in conjunction with the rest of the world. They live in a parallel world, but it's a drastically different world.
And they're forest people. And thank you
Yeah.
for saying like they are. Like, yeah, they're
So
they're
that's
entities or forest people. That's what I like to
That's why I never
refer.
never took the
to them as?
interdimensional thing into mind because I just thought of it like an old tribe that's been on an
Because
island
that's where it
forever.
gets crazy.
And they're a minor,
Interdimensional,
very
that's when it
minor,
yeah,
like
for real.
let's say
Gonna get cray.
culture or race of people that is like I'm sure there was a day in history that was relevant where you're like, oh yeah, they're the Sasquatch
So-and-so
culture or
people,
whatever.
yeah.
You know what I mean? That's those people like we say Asians or anybody else, and stuff. But now it's
Highlanderganses.
They're reaching out. They
but
want
now
us.
it's like there's only a
Wants
few of
to
them
hang
left,
out.
very minutely traveling around the forests of the world, let's say, and hard to find because like there's like, but where the skepticism comes in is we have a lot of these islands and small cultures where we can find that and be like, yo, check it out. These very minute people live here and you need to leave them alone. And
Exactly.
stuff or something, but we don't have that proof
Imagine,
with like,
hey, we need DNA sample from you. Hey, we gotta kill you. We
yeah,
gotta kill you on an island just so we could have a DNA sample. Like these are this is forest entities.
Do you think?
These are forest people. They're people.
Yeah.
This is.
Do you think Bigfoots are violent like this tribe of the Senegal?
They can
Islands?
be.
Yeah, I believe there's some.
Oh my gosh. Absolutely, they could be. I mean,
Uh-huh.
Oh, do you think
Is
that?
there
have-
any? Is there any evidence or sightings of Bigfoot attacks?
well, that brings up another different question. Like, think about humanity. Like, all right, there's some weirdos that want to kill people. these are forest entities and people. Like, these are forest people. Yeah, there's gonna be a rogue asshole.
Like that tribe,
You know, people go missing in the fucking woods all the time.
Like
but is there anyone who has survived a Bigfoot
But
attack?
that's the whole idea, though. Is
You gotta look that up, bro.
Like that
yeah,
tribe,
there
though,
are.
Who has gone and hung out with that tribe, and now we have a movie about the in-depth scenes of what this tribe is like. No, we have a photo from a helicopter that's gone around the island, taking pictures from as close as we can get. Because what do they do when you get on there? They kill you. What journalist is going to that island coming back with things? So, you know what I mean? Like, you're not getting like a bunch of in-depth things, like a culture that we can just go hang out with. So how do you hang out with Bigfoot and come back with reputable things?
There are stories of people that come back, especially with like Native women that come back and they're not the same, they're not all right. And then also there's a couple accounts of men that have been snatched in the woods and come back, and they do tell their stories. That I didn't write any notes on that. I didn't know that would come up. I thought it'd be kind of like a glazed over, like, hey, is Bigfoot real or no?
Well, I mean, I think it's safe to say. I think it's safe to say that this isn't going to be the last Sasquatch episode. There's been so many things between like dogs and humans, like comparisons, and then like Sasquatch. Like, there's so much to unpack here that really, like, I think we're just gonna have to do another fucking episode about
Dude,
this.
I'm still stuck on the Bigfoot having remorse thing. Like, even now that you said that there's people that survived, like, maybe they're, like, fishing, like, catch and release. Like, maybe they're doing it to fuck with humans, like we were talking about with the foot thing, and leaving evidence to fuck with us.
So that's, here we go. So that's assuming that humans are just kind of the catch and release. Like, that's assuming that they're the ones that are not, that they're not losing my words right now. But they're like, that's no, it's the opposite. It's that when humans go into the wilderness and hang out, there is a connection, and they are making a connection. Like, they are, I don't know, do you guys know
I was gonna say,
Les
like,
Stroud?
Okay.
Les Stroud?
No.
Survivor Man? Oh my
Oh,
god.
yeah.
I'm such a survivor. Like,
Yeah.
Like, on Les Stroud, like, he will totally, like, he had like, that's what all that, before I even saw one too. It almost like, it just like, it really like,
What about Les Stroud though? Because
is he a Team Sam Squatch?
So he had this Bigfoot, he had this Bigfoot show, and that was amazing. And no, nothing happened. He never saw one. He does his rounds in this zone. Like, he's so
Les Stroud
okay.
or-
It gets
or
real weird.
Sasquatch?
It gets with
both of them.
what?
You said that he makes the rounds in this area. Are you talking about Les Stroud or Sasquatch?
With it's all like, he's in this realm.
Yeah.
Okay, so
I think she did too.
he, in his Bigfoot, he had like a whole like line of like a series, of shows where like nothing really happened, this and that. And he had a really fucking real connection. Like, it gets real, it gets weird.
It gets weird.
So, yeah.
I'm gonna have to check this out because, like, the fact that you're almost rendered speechless by this interaction means that there's so much to unpack that it's almost more complicated than it's worth to explain, because it's an experience that you have to be a part of, is what I'm hearing. With like,
because because a little bit of like telepathy gets involved. and that nobody really believes in. But I think it's quantum. It's quantum communication,
Yeah.
quantum physics, quantum communication, and that he's one of my idols.
Yeah.
Like Les Stroud is one of my
Plug.
fucking idols.
You know what? Let's go ahead and do it. I want to say Les Stroud, Les Stroud, whatever your name is, You're a
Mr.
good guy.
Survivor Man,
Mr. Survivor Man.
Les Stroud.
I want to go ahead and plug you. You're doing good. And to all of our audience, if you haven't heard of Les Stroud, or if you haven't heard about apparently this this Bigfoot docu-series, from what I understand, which I've never heard of, go ahead and watch it. And then, Sean, go ahead and send anything that you think that we should address to the address.
P.O. Box 364.
No, give him more life. Give him more life. Send all your information to.
Hayfork, California.
Hayfork, California, Brady Road,
96.
motherfucker. It is Brady,
041.
Brady,
Get him, little
Brady.
chip.
They don't deliver
Like the
mail
family.
to Brady Road, so it's gonna have to go to my personal P.O. box.
Family
Yeah.
Brady.
So what's your personal PO box?
I
Say it again.
Fucking Christ.
no.
I'm going home.
Sam, did you watch the? Oh, you're just gonna.
No, I didn't watch the thing about the Sasquatch head or its penis.
Yeah. Not at all.
Thank God we didn't talk
No.
about this yet because it's
Not at
so
all.
irrelevant.
Did
That's
you see
not
this?
part of it.
Did you see this?
I did not, and it's not part of like.
Well, the videos that this guy claims to have is
His dad
dad
apparently in
shot one in-
1953 got
Yeah.
a Bigfoot, and then he
Okay.
dissected it into pieces and froze it in a freezer.
and so he's got like all parts of the body, but there's and so he highlights different parts of the body. The first video that I watched was that he looks at a Sasquatch head, and it's just honestly it's a really weird video. Like
it's not. No.
like no,
First
exactly.
of all, it's fucked up.
You
'cause
you and
they
I
only
are
How
on the
would
same
you
team.
fucking like?
It-
Why would
the
that be
internet is a
okay?
wonderful-
And
it's
how
not-
did not anyone like?
I honestly think it's
go,
all
like,
fake.
Scientists.
Yeah.
Fucking
But still, he had excuses because he was trying to play the nurturing vibes or whatever. Like his dad basically put it down because it was
Stuck in a swamp or something.
quote end quote or whatever stuck in a swamp. So he shot it. The only way they could get it out of the swamp was to cut it into pieces.
Because they wanted to keep the proof, and
And
Yeah.
again, the
it was
videos
really
are.
big.
I'm sure.
All the pieces weigh a
I'm
lot.
sure.
The head's 120 pounds.
You know what?
Sounds believable
you know,
to me.
To our
And now
audience,
he's
we'll go
just
ahead
trying to
and
take care of something that his dad put onto his shoulders.
And he's
120
actually
pounds,
creating a
Yeah.
Sasquatch museum,
Going
I believe in the northern parts of the United States. I don't know where. And actually, I'm gonna go ahead and link a couple of his videos just because it's fucking no, it's really weird, and I don't.
It's so dumb and not even. It's just like.
I mean, it is
is
really.
it
I don't know if it's real. That's the thing. Is that like
if it
I
okay, here we
I
go.
doubt
if it's
it
real,
is.
it's gonna be in the mainstream news. Like, oh my god, we found Bigfoot. Bam.
Wait, you don't think the media is trying to hide the Bigfoot? Because
Bigfoot cover up.
I would. If I were.
Oh my god, this is
CNN.
not it.
That's the name of the episode
I mean-
tonight.
Not
The Bigfoot cover up.
They've been hiding Roswell for how many years?
It's
Yeah.
not that hidden.
All right, so maybe it's true. Great.
Who
Check
knows?
it out.
I don't-
Maybe it's
I don't
true.
think it's true.
Well, the fact of the matter is, I'm much more curious as towards the evidence that it is true than I am in the.
Yeah, and
you know.
the people. Here we go. So, like we were saying, like they are equivalent to us in the woods, like forest people.
Mm.
Why the fuck? Why would you like shoot someone in the woods and be like, I checked it, like I have it in my.
Why
I'm
would
freezing
It was
it
on their homestead.
in my.
But still.
Why would you shoot an
it's
elephant
fucked
and
up
put
and
his
fake.
tusks on the wall?
Because
You know-
people are fucked up.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That's all I'm
There
getting at.
are,
I'm
there
more
are,
concerned-
there are. Yes,
all.
you're right.
I
There
I'm
just-
more
are fucked up
concerned
people out
about,
there,
like,
yes.
Okay,
Trophy
if
shit.
you're this out there and
You're
you
right.
like don't have running water and electricity, how do you fucking manage to keep something frozen that
Yeah.
does not has a swamp and no permafrost for fucking 65, 70 years?
He said
No,
he's got a commercial freezer, is what he said.
apparently explained it's been very expensive and a hardship on his life. to keep this frozen
like,
for
I'm
so
gonna
many
buy
years.
you
a
have
business
all you
and
need
freeze
is
this.
DNA.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
hey,
Edge.
there's DNA that has been taken, and it's been discredited because. All right, so yeah. Speaking of that, so when you have DNA of a new, a new entity or something, a new little
A
something,
new life form.
exactly. You need to like
Compare it to things.
you need to have like it's just crazy, like the whole process the whole process of like with rubber gloves on, grab it, put on this, do that, like all the flipping, all like the chain of
The protocol that you need.
the protocol and the
Yeah.
chain of like all the shit that's going on. Sweet lady.
But like on a side
Is-
thing, like sidebar kind of. So DNA research also.
There
Fucking
is.
pretty-
We didn't get into that yet.
Well, no, I mean with the,
Maybe
like
next time.
even human blood, right? It's still pretty shoddy. They could link your ancestry by comparing it to other stuff. You would potentially
Exactly.
have to
Yeah.
have
How
another Bigfoot
flippin' exact is that?
to compare
But
it to, right?
hey, but
Freedom
All right, well,
check out Melba Ketchum. Check out
go ahead. plug
Melba
it.
Ketchum.
Melba Ketchum. Is that an Instagram?
Check out David Politis and Melba
Plug.
Ketchum.
Plug. So I think we're gonna actually follow this up next week with another one. I want. I'll talk to you. I'll talk to you a little bit more about this once the mics are done. But we're gonna go ahead and close
Sierra
this thing
Sounds.
off tonight. We're gonna close this podcast up tonight. Is there anything that any of you guys want to say before we adjourn?
Yeah, fuck Hobo Johnson.
Okay. Yeah.
Ooh,
fuck Hobo Johnson.
Yeah.
I think
Piece
we
of
missed
shit.
that last week.
Sierra Sounds. Check out the motherfucking Sierra Sounds. It's a
band?
Ron Moorhead. They're a band.
Oh hell yeah.
There's some
Sierra
shit you
Sounds.
gotta check
Plug.
out.
Plug.
And get weird with Ron Moorhead and Sierra Sounds.
Yeah.
And this is some real
It's real.
Dude,
It's just
some
straight up
real-
real.
real
Run.
enough to freestyle over?
Fuck it. Let's do it. You feel like freestyling? Let's get weird with it.
Yeah, what you know, I'm going home. See y'all later. I want to take a nap for the rest of the night. What you think about that? Turn the lights off and put my head on a pillow.
Take
It's
a nap
nap time.
forever. Yeah, we here together and we talk about Bigfoot, we getting lit, and we talk about Sam Scratch getting hit, and that's all I got.
Barefoot Pity.
Yep.
Oh,
Barefoot Pig.
Barefoot.
No.
Sean Squatch.
I can't do it. Barefoot
Bigfoot
hippie in the porta
neighborhood.
pot.
What you got? I got a little bit thing. He's like, no.
I just can't do it.
Thank you guys for being here with us. This has been Black Sheep and Bad Apples. I'm your host, Lauren O'Brien. Thank you, Mel, for being here with us. I
Thank
can't wait to do this
you for
again.
having me.
Sam, Ron,
Sweet
much
friends.
obliged, guys. I appreciate y'all being here. You guys are sweethearts. Co-host Sean, you're
Oh,
just
yeah.
goddamn sexy.
Bigfoot
Thank you for having us here
all
at Fourth
day.
Corner.
Bigfoot all day.
And that is
Bigfoot
Bigfoot all day. Bigfoot all day.
Woo!
And as you know, I'm your host, Lauren O'Brien. Thank you for being here with us. This is